special guest with me who's going to be joining me shortly, but this is Good versus Nollywood. So home movies of Nigeria, a very, very um, long history that is very close to my heart. And I'm always telling people how amazing Nollywood is. They've got Netflix Niger, but it's sometimes and may still get a bad rap even from Nigerians themselves. But there are quality out there, and there's some that are not quality. So special guest is going to join me shortly to discuss that. And what's it called? She is amazing, and her background as a creative, a very senior person that has to wrangle all the stages of development and production. Any questions to ask? If you don't know what home movies are in terms of Nollywood, it's the kind of buzz name that Hollywood, Bollywood has. Basically, of amazing filmmakers on and off-screen talent from Nigeria. We have Nollywood in Nigeria. Any other woods? Let us comment below and let us know. So we'll be joined shortly, and basically there's so much content out there, and so many different types of voices and budgets, and a lot, because there's so much content. It's brilliant. There's so many platforms of different content. Not everything is distributed in a formal way. Not every avenue or distribution avenue is open to filmmakers. So people make it by any means necessary. Men and some of the main ones that you might know: The Merry Men, Wedding Party, King of Boys. There's a lot of major ones, and we'll discuss that you might not get to see, but it's also the same in other industries, independent and market, big box office blockbusters. Not everything makes it to screen. There's other things that are rushed to screen because there's so much content. But specifically in this video, welcome comments about questions, experiences, whether you're a consumer or not. It will be good to know. So we're going to welcome now YVONNE Nimi, fellow Nollywood defender and enthusiast, and she'll tell her about herself when she joins. Bear with us if we get cut out by everyone trying to be on the line. Hey, fine girl.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm all right. It keeps coming in. I was enjoying your dancing, and then it just cut out.
Listen, it's as if we're not under enough pressure as it is. Now we have to dance, we have to make content and be here while we can. This is, listen, everybody that's watching and is going to watch this later on YouTube people on this big screen here, you hear the, but we've been trying to do this for a long time. She's a busy lady, and so I'm going to let her speak, but that we both love our home movies.
I'm head of channels for an African TV company, and we deal with 3 different Nollywood and African channels. So I'm definitely well versed in Nollywood. I have my thing on the side, which we've actually done. We've done a video or 2 about, which is an erotica writer and all of that. I am one of those people that's like, I am able to look at it from both a consumer perspective as an African that enjoys it, and from a more critical perspective as somebody that spends her whole life dealing with Nollywood content.
That's fantastic. The thing is, there's so much, and I feel this is a part 1 of oncoming things. Now, so I've literally put it down to 2 questions because I have to hold it in. It's for people who do not know about. First of all, being critical for me is being constructive, the good and the bad. Now, yes. I usually want to leave people with hope, but let's mix it together. So the questions I have, I've shortened it. These were sent to, like, we've discussed this about a year and a half ago, but let's continue.
Oh, man.
So we're going to continue. So basically, as a fellow defender and lover of Nollywood, like myself,
I'm glad you said defender, you know.
I feel all on Naija, and my thing is, before Netflix Naija, which launched this year, 2020, home movies have got a bad rep. They just always is mostly bad. But both of us know that I want to give top 3 examples. There's so many, but I'll give my top 3, and then you can give your top 3, and then we can get critical after. So the ones that I will forever love, please go and check out these titles: Mr. Ibu, Mr. and then IBU, Mami, which with Funke Akindele, amazing film.
That's a solid one. That's a solid movie.
Will always be in my heart. Bello. Go and look at Scene 1 TV with Jennifer. Jennifer's Diary now is Jennifer holding it down. And then current stuff in
Go with favorites. Old School or Sophia in London.
Yes! In Kem.
Old School.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm going to rewatch for 100th time. Sorry, continue.
So Sophia in London, that's one. And then in more modern times, it's still a home movie, but it's about this is such an incredibly clever movie, and it takes place between 4 people. The essential the sets are basically like two bedrooms. And it is just clever. The dialogue is clever. The twists and turns with literally 4 people just going in and out of conversation. So yeah, The Visit. Anybody that is on Netflix, go and catch it. Yeah, it's a great movie. And then one, it doesn't count as a home movie, but I have to shout out a friend of mine who created something amazing. And I feel like the audience, to an extent, in Nigeria, we're not quite ready for it. But it's having a resurgence. It's what is it? Tattoo.
Okay.
TATU. That's another one to check out. It is essentially using our belief system and turning it into something that is for cinema. You know? So I'm not going to give too much away, but it's another very, very clever movie that people should catch. So but the first thing that anyone should watch is a Sophia in London, is what I'm saying. Always.
The thing is,
that is proper old school.
Proper old school, but in terms of quality, we're going to talk about people. I mean, you guys, this is a porthole to our standard bearers for quality. And I swear down, it's not even about we are being patriotic to our... This is heavenly baked. Oh yeah, why are you laughing here? Comment below with why you're laughing, eh? So the thing, right, home movies, it's not being patriotic, being defensive, because we were raised to face our books and be discerning. Because I will defend quality no matter the origin of the country. And it's usually authentic voices. So the standard bearers for me are people that I've always been drawn to. If it's the actors, okay, so the standard bearers have had to protect their own content and to sustain a career. For example, Isong, Royal Arts Academy. Okay, the writing. This is a woman, by the way, working in Naija in an industry always globally dominant. I can't. Go and check it out because it speaks for itself. Come back and we'll debate. After this video, go and check these people out. There's people like one of my favorite actresses, Uche Jumbo.
This is how well.
She does her own thing, and I think she has her own studios. Wait. Does she have her own studios?
Yeah.
I think she does. I think she does.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does. And then okay, from my neck of the woods, always proud, and it's what's called Lance Amasuen. And he's got Benin Film Academy as well. And then we've already talked about Funke Akindele Bello. If I ever met her, there's just too much laughing involved, okay? And do you understand? I nearly nothing makes me cry, but I actually got a little bit emotional when her whole self was in Peckham. And how did I not know about this? Her whole self is, I'm still gutted, but one day we'll meet. So are there any standard bearers you want to share?
Oh Lord, you know, I know and love too many to mention. And I'm not even trying to be biased because that's my work. And then somebody will come and say, you didn't mention me.
It's true.
But someone that consistently does amazing work, Blessing Egbe.
Ah, yes.
Amazing work. Movie, series, all of that. She does really great work.
Yeah.
So she's a standout for me.
Mm-hmm.
Obi Emelonye, he does really good work as well.
Mm-hmm.
So and then you know what, there are some others that are, in terms of I mean, these the couple I've mentioned are the bigger names. Obviously I have my friends like Sheba Batope that does, you know, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Donna Moped that does great work. These are the younger guys that are coming up, and listen, there's stuff again, we'll get to their bits as well. But you know, Blessing has been around for years and years and years. Obi has been around for years and years and years. And you know, people like that, they consistently do good quality. They do not allow their quality to go down, no matter the hardship they're feeling, because it's very hard.
Yes.
Very hard to do it and to maintain it, and in terms and how the market works, which we'll get into when we get to that part of your topic. Yeah. It doesn't always allow for them to be able to do this, but you know, they sort of stick to their guns, stick to making great quality content. So that's on the producer side. On the acting side, oh Lord, so many. I really like what's her name? Ekpe Etim or something along those lines. Oh Lord, I know.
And the thing is, I don't even try and pronounce her name,
really great.
But she's quality.
She is incredibly good. She is the one in The Visit that I like.
Yes.
The thing for me, just if I see her name, I'm going to watch a movie.
Yeah.
You know, wherever I am, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to try to get it. And so I think she's probably one of the best actresses for me. And then actors, there's so many, but I'm probably more into the younger crop of actors than the old ones. So we have someone like Blossom, who's a really good actor. He's able to, because the thing about it is that it's, oh yeah, you know, there's so many of them, and you know, I still want to do business with all of them, so I'm not going to name any.
And the thing is, this is why you're still holding it down. This is why you're still holding it down, because it is diplomacy, and you want to last, and you have to do it. And I understand. The thing is, so let's get to the criticism side. There's things, because there's real talk. Maybe some people do have justifications. Stayed with me. Is I just, okay, things like when there's a sexual assault scene, it's like, okay, it's called, there's an attack, and then suddenly they jump cut and she's fine. There's no kind of, nothing is acknowledged at all. Beyond we know the kind of like patriarchal society that we're raised in. But it's the kind of thing, as I know not every movie has to be a messaging, and there's distinct genres in all of our home movies, like in any other industry. But specifically when it's a drama, even sometimes they mash up. It's a comedy, it's a drama, it's life in one thing. But you've gone from one woman, you've like, you're walking down Village Road. Okay, is it your business? Suddenly you attack her. The next jump cut, you're walking hand in hand. In every other thing, when it's religious or spiritual or diabolical, there is fire on their head in telling you what is wrong. But in things like that, and then another thing is the disciplining. Okay, if you're going to be disciplining people in Nollywood, how there's you see what I mean? There's not enough follow-up within the movie. Within the home movie, for me, that's one criticism I have. We know about the you can always hear the gen in the background from the the
You
Korean.
can't do anything about
You
that.
can't do anything about that now. But you know what I'm happy is they're making it despite the pirating, despite the traffic, despite the little means, and they make it happen because that's our people. We hustle by any means necessary, and that's the independent spirit until you get the money. So these are my small things. They're important, but they vex me. But then people complain. People still complain when there's big money. You're happy when they're showing some sort of like pimping car. So you must show your 10 4x4, your big house, your aspirational thing, bang, 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 big yash, your men with your fine packaging, and then there's no substance or story. But you're there for 4 hours, just showing one product placement after product placement. Let me stop.
Listen, let me talk about one movie I watched, right? This is years and years ago before I knew better. And it was I can't remember how many parts of the movie, but I think my total time spent watching this movie was about 4 hours.
Yeah.
It was right because we watched it and then we came the next day and continued watching it. No, it was more than 4 hours. It was about 6 hours. I remember this, actually. It was about 6 hours.
6K.
And at the end, we spent 2 days, 3 hours, 3 hours. At the end, everybody died. Every single person in that movie died. There was a gunfight, and everybody died at the end of that movie. I remember sitting down and thinking, "What? I've literally just wasted my life." Every single person died in that movie. So I guess there are to talk on the points that you've made. I think it's a combination of two things. One is before, because now again it's different, but they don't know how to deal with things like sexual assault. It's not even in the movie, in life. They don't know how to deal with sexual assault. Some things are not even regarded as that serious because it happened to a woman. And if she forgives him, then everything's okay because, this happened to her and with her abuser. And then, but then if they get married, then everything is fine. That's literally how it is. So they don't know how to, because of how that is in general in society, that has now come into the movies. And that's literally it. And the truth of the matter is, it's not something that anybody before, it's not something they actually want to explore anyway. It's that sexual assault itself, it's just a tool of either introducing a new character or talking about how bad this woman was, which is usually the case, and then showing her redemption. But the assault itself is not even it's not the essence of it. It's just a tool that is being used as for something else. For introducing this man as a love, he was bad, and then he marries her, so now he's good. That's literally how it's being used. And
absolution.
Because of that mindset, that is why it shows in our movies. So that, and then in terms of the jump cuts, they have to also the censorship in Nollywood is actually very, very they're serious. So they can't show too much anyway, and they can't show the trauma of it all too much. Really, that is, and this is even in these times that we're in, with these great producers, they still have a lot of censorship. So by the time you finish with the movie, it goes to the censorship board. They will say, "Yeah, it's nice, but no, we can't pass it. So you have to go and then you cut it." I'm not saying that's what people do, because in the instances you're talking about, those straight up, they don't know how to deal with sexual assault. But now some of the follow through, some of the trauma, they can't even show. So there is that as well.
There's some brilliant insights from Eve, and she's going to talk some more because she knows firsthand about the industry, and she's a major player behind the scenes, and hopefully see it on camera in the future as well. Some more. I've got a question from Heavenly Bake. I want it. I will lobby it. Heavenly Bake asks, do you think a time will come when Hollywood will explore sexual assault on men, but also which will lend it to our topic for today, which is Nollywood in Nigeria as well.
Yeah,
But
I think you probably
it's full af whitewashing. Anything? How many times will Aleakwe be auto-corrected to Alaska? My friend, get out.
There will be. Yeah, she spelled it out again. Nollywood.
Yes,
I think there will be. Like I said, there is a brand new crop of filmmakers that are really exploring all kinds of different themes. So I know that time is coming. You know, there was recently I had someone I know did something on depression. And those are usually not things that we actually explore that much. So I know there will be a time. I don't think the time is actually that far out in the future. I really don't. I think it's something that's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. As I think what is whether the audience will be ready, because the filmmakers are ready.
Yes.
The audience may not be ready, and that is also something I think for some filmmakers, that's what they have to consider as well. They have to consider who's going to actually pay for it, because the filmmakers are so listen. I've spoken to so many of them. They're forward thinking. They're so modern. There's so many things they want to get into and explore and explode. That means one of them I was speaking to, and some of the stuff he wants to do, he would tear our society apart if he becomes, because these are things that our generation have seen the past generation go through, and they're like, let's explore these things in that way, in that creative way. The audience may not be ready for it, but the filmmakers definitely are. So it's something that I think is going to happen sooner than later.
You know what? It's weird because you're it really helps me, because you've just made me think of, first of all, my questions, because you know the industry better. In terms of, I remember going to so many different industry events when I used to work in broadcast and features and things for people like BBC and Channel 4, and you'd always want to hear different sides. So you'd go to African film festivals, industry events, blah, blah, blah. Now, I remember someone mentioning the hardships they got from, you make the film, you've got the financiers, you've got the funders, you've got the audience, you've got the people who stick by you. But then you mentioned about censorship, that getting a certification, for a border certification from here, from outside of Nigeria, even if you've got people interested, that was one obstacle. I thought of. But then you're talking about audience. That's one thing to talk about. Chimamanda, listen, purple hibiscus, half of the yellow sun. There's an audience in that respect. I wept reading Purple Hibiscus, because you know how it is when you read something about your heart and your home. You see everything she wrote, your home. Every memory she is literally just taken from your heart and your everything. And Purple Hibiscus dealt with domestic violence and all kinds of different things about society in the past and in the present. And see our queen, Chimamanda, people are ready. So can you tell me more about the obstacles?
I think when people are ready, I'm not saying people are not ready. I feel like you would find a bit more of resistance.
I'm ignorant. Are we Heavenly Baked? Do you mean male sexual assault on other men, or we talk about women, DV? I've misunderstood.
To be honest, I'm actually taking it in general. I'm not talking about men necessarily, men on men only, or women on men. I'm talking about both, right? Because the thing about it, there was a movie. What's the movie? Katala. It did so well in so many festivals last year. No, 2018. It was brilliant movie. Emma, she's a very very great filmmaker, and she actually did a movie for the company. And one of her movies, she touched on a younger man being exploited by an older man, but it was sort of brushed. It was done in almost like a comedic way, and we knew what the deal was. He knew what the deal was, but it wasn't something that was touched on a little bit. And one of the questions that she was asked after the movie was, you know what, this is how you did it. This is how you exploited it. Why didn't you make it more serious and explore a little bit? And her answer was, really, she was trying to portray how these people live, and really, this is how they live. For them, they would not see as that big a deal for them to actually explore the emotional side of it. They would just see it as something that's happened, and then they move on to the next thing. But it's actually a serious thing, because a grown man, he was having sex with a teenager, and it was a sexual transaction. It was transactional, but the older man is very manipulative and abusive. Well, it was almost like, this is something that happened, we move on to the next thing the next day. And so I got her perspective, because she did not want to make the film about that. That wasn't what the film was about. And truly, this is exactly how it would be. And this is how there's a certain African mentality, and okay, this bad thing has happened, we move on, we move. That's it. And so that's why I say that it's not necessarily, they know these things are happening, but in terms of exploring it in an emotional way, I think it's something that the filmmakers are going to do it. The audience just has to catch up, and that is really what's going to happen. The filmmakers will do their thing, and the audience would catch up.
I suppose because what you've mentioned, I mean, we've both, our past are in this creative industry. If it was another life, I would have been back home. We would have our own company. If we'd met in another life, and people don't know this, but we're like literally acquaintances, but when we connect, because there's so many amazing people out there, full time, and there's so many people who have on board. But I think the reality, you're right, the reality is, she's right, it'll be brushed past. That kind of trauma, that transaction, that gaslighting will be brushed past in real life. And then at least you got followed up with the questions. People, why is that brushed past? Do you know our people? And it's not just our people, it's global taboos as a woman. And it's a fantastic thing, and it's always good as a jumper for messaging. Okay, what other aspects of the industry, Nollywood and home movies in Nigeria, what else gets a bad rep, and is it justified? Is it unjustified? What don't people see?
Okay, so all right. One thing, and I used to do this as well, and then now I know better. I still feel it, but I know better because I know it. Is when people keep talking about quality of the movies and things like that. Now, something that people have to understand is that these people can they can shoot a whole movie in 2-3 days. And they have to do it that way because everything costs. It all costs money. And all of that costs money. Having lights constantly costs money. Hence the generator. You hear the generator in the background. They need the generator. It needs to work. You then have to, and dealing with sound is so expensive. Dealing with being able to deal with that. Sound is one of the most important things in filmmaking, and is also one of the most expensive things in filmmaking. And I'm saying this as a filmmaker myself as well, having been in that perspective and seeing how difficult that is. So that quality thing that people are always talking about, and people churn out movies. Yes, they do churn out movies because it's not the cinema structure isn't quite the same as maybe the Hollywood stuff. The way things are consumed are differently. these home movies are consumed in the marketplace, which means it has to be done. They have to shoot it Monday and Tuesday. By Friday, it has to be in the market so people can buy it on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally the conveyor belt system of how it works. And that has to happen that way so that these producers can make their money.
Yes.
Because they've spent all this money. There's no big studio that is paying for anybody. A lot of them are doing it, the producers are doing it out of their own pocket. So they have to be able to do it that quickly so that in the weekend they can make their money, so that come Monday they will make more movies.
That's it.
And that is it. So in those 2 days now, some people try to be even extra.
Are people extra?
And make more than 2 movies, right? So you can see, so you have a movie, they finished it, whatever, and then the producer is saying, you know what, I have these people, this is the story, I don't have a script, but this is the concept, go and do your thing. And that's it. A lot of the times you see these movies, some of them don't have it, they don't have scripting and things like that. And someone that just joined One Soul Films, he is also an amazing filmmaker as well. And people should actually go check him out. Go to his Instagram. He does amazing things. And he is one of those innovative filmmakers that I was talking about that are actually really exploring so many different themes. DV, depression, all of that. He's exploring all of these themes, and it's the kind of stuff that the newer filmmakers are doing. But anyway, back to the point. So that conveyor belt of movies is what they have to do, because that's how they have to make their money.
Yes.
So I'm not quite as judgy as I used to be when you were like.
It's what I love is, okay, so for people watching, thank you for joining us. We've got a special guest, YVONNE Nimi, who works in the industry, a fellow Nollywood defender, superhero, like we in Nigeria. But I wanted to give people an insight for those at entry level, or kind of parallel, and as to why we have to defend. Let me give her a quick hug off camera. Mwah. All right, go to Father. And I'll come in. My friend, there's no ice cream. Go to Father. Go and talk to him. Quick parallels in that. Speaking of diva, there's one there, right? Our people, me mainly working with kind of UK and American co-producers, BBC, Channel 4, Sky, different people. But very briefly, what vexes me is tint of negativity when it's when it's Nigerian, when it's African, when it's Caribbean, when it's Latin American, when it's non-Western. Now, as a very broad context, Nollywood is said to have, I think it's in order, I think it's Bollywood, not India, then Nigeria, Nollywood home movies, and then Hollywood. But these are big people with big money and big attack and defense. They have their own PR as well. And King, we're online. We can all hear you. You want to say hello, or do you want to close the door? Okay, and continuing quickly. Right, the parallels is that when we are making independent films by any means necessary, it's seen as low quality with that filter that we are lesser. If it's done in a different country, it's seen as auteur, guerrilla, independent filmmaking, student. Our people, the people who are making no planning permits, you're winging it, but you might not have a story, but elsewhere it's improvised. There's a double speak involved, but they're making it happen. Yes, exactly. They're making it happen by any means necessary, for the reasons that you said, and that's amazing. But for me, it's the filter. Yet, if you go back into archive, thank you, YouTube. Thank you, people who still have VHS and are digitizing, because there are some amazing quality storytelling. The storytelling, no Oscar can touch. No BAFTA can touch. No Emmys can touch. The storytelling in itself is amazing. And thankfully there's people still there. So please support all kinds of independent, because everyone started as an independent. Your Tarantino, Mr. Tarantino says, man thief. He thieves from every genre and then he remixes and does his own gist. There have people who are originating in different language. Support the people speaking pidgin. Not better. And then
definitely. I think what it is it had this bad rap from before, these market movies, and people haven't gotten past that. It's really as easy. When I talk to people now and I say, I do Nollywood, they're like, oh, Nollywood. I'm like, dude, listen, number one, we are so far away from that, what you think. But as you said, it's PR. For instance, all this juju and stuff, right?
Yes.
Juju is just paranormal.
Yes.
That's literally what it is. It's paranormal. Maybe the graphics aren't quite as advanced. These days they're trying, but it's literally just, it is paranormal. You see all these things about ghosts and stuff. We've been doing ghosts.
Originators.
So like, you know what I mean? We've been doing ghosts for like time. But because we call it juju and it's very localized. Whereas here, when you get it abroad, is paranormal and all of that business. So it's really about PR, and let's be real, it's also about the race aspect of it as well. That underlying racism that exists. And I think what it is with Nollywood now, we've started to say, we don't care. We don't really. We're doing nothing, and we'll continue doing it. And the beautiful thing is now, the audiences in the diaspora are now catching on. Yes, it's still the big celebratory movies that are doing it, but they are catching on. And soon, honestly, I mean, the amount of Europeans that are making movies in Nollywood, not just the producers, but the actors as well.
Yes.
They're doing things in Nollywood and that's where they're getting their coins.
Yes. Heavenly Baker saying, if we did Abba and the Three Witches, it won't sell. If we did Lisa and the Three Witches, it would be a cult hit.
Exactly.
It's true.
That is exactly.
That's so.
That is exactly. I believe it's changing. I believe we have young filmmakers that are just, going at it and doing it. And the beautiful thing about it, I'm finding, is that a lot of them are no longer seeking the permission of the West. So a lot of them, they've studied here, they've done their thing, and they've come back and been like, you know what, we can do this here, we can make this an amazing industry, and that's what they're trying to do, really.
Yes.
The graphics and the special effects are getting better. It's still a bit too expensive. There are certain things that are not quite as accessible there as it is here, but it's going along, and it's going very well. I mean, we have some basic challenges like exporting a movie or exporting. It could take maybe a day or so. There they could be doing it. Then you'll have no electricity. Then you have to start again. So we are facing different kind of challenges. Even with those challenges, we are still creating amazing things. So
exactly. Bear with us.
The naysayers, stand you. Then I give a list of my recommendations. I said, listen, go and watch these movies and come back and tell me what you're trying to tell me.
Yes.
And I'm like, listen, I found there was a period a couple of months ago, I had zero interest in content that was not African, that was not Nollywood. Zero interest. Like, there was, because as you rightly pointed out, the storytelling.
Bear with us.
And how it was real. I barely watched it because the fact is I have all these other content that is so much more compelling to me, and I enjoy it.
It's really great to have your insights and on this. Is there anything that you wanted to cover that we haven't and at all?
No, you know what? I think the other thing, we have a lot of producers, or some producers, creating movies here. And then every once in a while you hear some Nollywood actors in place really barking. They really like barking. But anyway, it's cheap. You can get things. You can get good atmosphere cheaply. I think what it is to an extent, some of them, they try to, because it's in England and they really want it to look international, they lose some of the things that make African movies great. And they've made it a little bit, if I put something like that on my channel, the audience, it doesn't resonate. They're not that into it. So I think the one thing we'll tell some newer filmmakers is the thing that makes us African, don't use it. Because
for example,
see, it's one of those ones you don't want to say.
Oh, no. Let me let you keep your job. It's fine. But what's good? We welcome comments. We welcome comments. Answer for Eve. Answer for Eve. It's okay. It's okay. Start a debate. be her spokesperson, and she can deny or confirm. It's not easy because it is that we're aspirational. Our DNA is aspirational, and you're go-getters, and we exploit any opportunity, especially in Africa and the diaspora. And we're all globally, we're encouraged, and I get that. People they take what they can, the experiences, but when you dilute that authentic experience and what you've just said, it just like like you said earlier, who wants to lose 6 hours of their life? Got things to do. Got things to do.
Yeah, that was painful. That was painful.
Do you know what a good balance? A good balance. Okay, an example of a good balance. I saw the trailer, like, I don't know whether it was 2 or 3 years ago, Lionheart. With yes, she was amazing, and the whole thing, she had a good balance of it. She knew what a market was. It was aspirational for a global market. It wasn't allowed an Oscar because it was mostly English language or whatever. But the thing is, she off screen is a fighter. Genevieve Nnaji she's a warrioress anyway. I think she was running for some governance or something like that. But she has the courage of her convictions, and she's very proud of her homeland. But also she's a survivor, like Omotola, like everybody. But I think she struck a good balance overall with that output.
Yeah, it was a good one, and I think for the most part that's what Netflix is doing. I mean, listen, a year ago, there was not the number of Nollywood movies. I mean, when I saw the notification that they were doing Netflix Naija, I said, yeah, I'm not even a little bit surprised when they created their whole is this thing?
It's gone a little bit. Bear with us. I can see you moving. Oh, okay. Let me re-add. Bear with us, everybody. I'm going to re-add Eve with her dulcet tones and insights. Let's have a look. You can just hear Pekin, our toddler, in the background, replacing Eve's. Hold on a second. Bear with my 1 second. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. How do we add now? Oh. Ah, okay. Hold on a second. All right. What's called? Eve, keep talking.
No, what happened?
Yeah. You've lost Auntie, and she was talking so much beautiful sense. Bear with us, people.
No.
Let's have a look. Right. Hold on a second. Turn for questions go live. How do you do this? There we go. Bear with me. I don't even know how to use this thing, you know. Bear with us, people. Mm. Okay, so we're just going to reconnect Eve, everybody. So bear with us. Let's have a look, see. And we've got Eve Nimi discussing Nollywood, the good versus Nollywood, which is Nigerian home movies. So do bear with us. And hopefully because everyone's online, it's disconnected. So do bear with us. And we're just talking about Nollywood home movies. If you've got any questions, do type below to ask our special guest, Eve Nimi, who works within the what's it called, creative industry in production and development and post for what's called content and Nollywood. So bear with me. We'll have a live in a minute. Let's have a look. See. So yes, so we've been talking about Nollywood, which is Nigerian home movies, a massive industry, which has just actually had Netflix Naija launched as well, following massive uptake in acquisitions for home movies, Nigerian-based filmmakers, a lot of established talent, often on screen, as well as newcomers. So check it out. There's also a lot of media and on other platform webisodes and wholesale channels on here. So if you do check it out, what's called, any questions you have, type below and let us know. So I think we may have. It's beautiful. What did you draw?
Oh, it's a drawing.
Okay, Eve, we back on here. Here you go. Now, wow, internet. This is our life now. Now, wow, internet. The internet, interwebs.
Right?
So you're sideways.
Yes.
Because you know what? This is my first ever live.
Is it? There you go.
I've never done a live before.
Listen, you're doing well.
I'm like, oh my God.
You did
this
well.
Is super exciting.
Please continue with your insights about our industries, our industry and industry working.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we're talking about the authenticity of it all.
Yes.
Using the example of Lionheart. I think Lionheart was.
Yeah.
It was a combination of things.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a really good movie, and it was good for us, great PR.
Mm-hmm.
But I fully understood where they were coming from in terms of the category that it was put for. It's just what it is. It's not. Is it racism? Yeah, a little bit of that. But there's also the fact that there are certain categories and certain things are put in certain categories for very specific reasons, and it just wasn't in that. But I think what's happening a lot now is there is going to be that push because people have seen that, you know what, that is something that we can aspire to, and they now know that, okay, if we want to get this and want to get into this category, this is A, B, and C is what we have to do. And now happening is that Netflix is like seriously slowly acquiring amazing Nollywood content. They've gone taking all there's a particular producer who we work.
Bear with us with the internet.
Sorry, it keeps like doing the round thing. Anyway,
you carry on.
Netflix, he's with Netflix at the moment. I know he's not gonna get any chance for us to work with him, but yeah. So this is what's happening, and the reason that is happening is because this content resonates with people, and not just with the West, but with the African audience. And the African audience is huge. Huge. Is one of the reasons why Hollywood is third, is because Hollywood doesn't really think about the African audience. They really don't. They think predominantly about the Western and the Asian audience, but not the African audience. And that's why we're able to surpass them, because we're catering to our people, and our people are that.
And you say that, what's it called? Catering consistently and all the time before and beyond, what's it called? Black Panther and Wakanda, where certain people think exists. Goats, Mumu. It's amazing to me.
Listen, we're happy with the movement that it
This
brought.
is it. We have to give thanks. I honestly believe that there's such. I used to actually be vexed that our talents and our pioneering spirit and our go-getting spirit was not seen beyond entertainers and beyond sports. But actually, I give it more credit now, because there is power in that storytelling and in that kind of multifaceted sharing of power. You can, like the diaspora, continuing that, bridging the past and the future with storytelling present. And I give thanks that you've got people like yourself who actually look back and know how to take filmmakers, and don't.
You know what? I do not worry about the Nollywood industry. I really don't. I think maybe what I worry about is how it will be funded properly, so that filmmakers are given their dues. Yes. That there is no worry for me. And I don't even think about, in terms of the work, I don't think about the West at all. I don't want, listen, they will come round. They will come, and that's the truth. See how they have done with our music, with our fashions, with our people. They're going to, so I'm not even thinking about them. I'm thinking about our people and making sure that they keep consuming the right things. They see the good things. Those are the people that I actually talk to. Others is like, whatever, that your opinion will change. It's fine. I don't know.
This is it, and we continue while they move mad. And we're gonna regrettably, we will come back to this. You don't even understand. It's been a long time. We've been trying to make this happen, and because of the change in technology,
2 years now we've been trying to, because we did the first one like years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, and I'll share the link below. And your last word on good versus Nollywood, YVE NIMI.
It's all good, baby. There is no bad. There is no bad. It is all good. If you see something that you think is bad, just, look at it differently. Put a bit of PR polish on it. That's all you have to do.
That's it. And what's it called? If you listen, look beyond the surface as well. I tell to people who are what's it called? They look at our native soups and all our dishes and stuff. I beg, look beyond the presentation and taste it. You'll be converted, and you understand why there is a higher power and why God's gift and why we are God's gifts. Yes. So our food, our native food is as good as our native content. It has royalty.
It's brilliant. It really is brilliant.
Royalty.
And yes, I think, what, something else, when you put the post out and everything, I'm going to list some good content for people to go and just go and binge on.
Yes.
That's what I would do. When you do that, let me know, and then I'll just put a list out. Just go and enjoy.
You, Queen, seriously, fine girl, fine packaging, fine heart. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this. Sorry, you know what? I stayed in my onesie because I was like, listen, I love you, but I cannot change clothes. I'm in my isolation gear, but at least I put a bit of lipstick on for you.
And listen,
I think that's the least I could do.
Listen, star. No one can ever steal your star and your color. We give thanks.
Oh, thank
you. You're welcome now. So this is here, the Instagram crew. Thank you for watching, people. It's going to be up for 24 hours.
Thank you, guys.
And on the YouTube crew, we're going to put the lists and content below later on. Thank you all for watching. YVE NIMI, star. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Stay safe.
It's good fun.
What'd you say, beautiful? It's Auntie?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you draw?
I did drawing.
Okay.
The line.
Mm-hmm.
We have bus.
Mm-hmm.